Okay, if my cat just yep, just go past. There you go. One by one. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. Let's open the door for him. All right, guys, the wild card weekend is over. It's bittersweet. Me and Adam, both our teams lost. We were in the down of the dumps. My team lost to a JV defense, but we had a preschool, actually a pee-wee gun offense. So we lost to the better team, the best, I guess, better JV team, if you will. The Eagles lost to 49ers, and Adam's team, the Packers, lost to their arch nemesis. I don't know, Adam. Anyways, before we get on that, guys, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. It goes a long way for this small channel. Let's get to the Packers, Adam. Let's break this down real quick. For everybody who doesn't know, Adam's a Packer fan. I'm an Eagles fan. Two questions. We'll talk about the Packers game against the Bears and what do you think the future is for the Packers briefly. But do you think this is the turning of the tide, if you will? I don't know if in our lifetime, since we've been alive, that we've seen the Packers lose to the Bears in the playoffs. I think I saw a stat that's like from the 40s or something like that. They have not beat the Packers. They haven't won a playoff game against them. And I know we weren't born yet. So they won the division. They win a playoff game against their biggest rival. Do you think this is the turning of the tide? Is this the Bears now, like the vision? Like they're going to be in it for 10 years?
No, I mean, the Bears have arrived. I will say that. They are a legitimate team that have obviously improved a crazy amount over the span of a year with a new coach and obviously second-year quarterback. And I think they just haven't really, like you said, commanded our attention at all for decades. The Packers really have owned them. Aaron Rodgers owned them. And they just weren't relevant. I think we were way more scared of the Vikings and the Lions for a long time. And they got something good going there. We're not going to hand over, the reins for a decade. They won one game and they're looking good, but we'll see next season. But they played well.
Yeah. Now look, I still don't think that Caleb Williams did, again in that game against the Packers. I mean, he has a lot of yards, hit 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions that were like, clearly like, what are you doing? But like I'm not sold on him, but I think maybe that he will be possibly their best quarterback they've ever had. And that's not saying a lot of people. Like when you say that, like if you said the Patriots, if Drake May is going to be the best quarterback of that franchise, that means he's out beating Tom Brady. All Caleb Williams has to do is outbeat Jay Cutler to get that title. So I'm not saying much there. But what I'm saying is, as we've been saying all year long, I think you and I, it's Ben Johnson. It's like he has got this team believing in it, what they believe in. As much as people, I know Packer fans probably hate him ripping the shirt off and doing all that, but he got his players believing in him, believing in his system. And I think the biggest fear for the whole NFC North is, and NFC possibly as well, is that another year in his system, another year of his players getting used to it and developing more in his system. And I think as long as Ben Johnson's on the Bears, Caleb Williams will have a successful career. And I feel like Ben Johnson's going to be here to stay. And you're right. We're used to seeing the Packers, just smack the Bears around almost every year. But you have to admit a little bit that since Caleb Williams has been drafted, those games have been tight. They have been close. Ever since he was a rookie, he's added something to the Bears team. So unlike the Vikings, who I think are going the wrong way, their defense is a little bit aging. Their quarterback, I think he's a career backup in this league, possibly a good backup. So I think they're going the wrong direction. Detroit, what they're going to do with Goff in a couple of years. I think this is going to be the Packers and Bears. As big as the rival is, it's going to be even more because Jordan Love is 27, right? If they keep LaFleur, young coach, Ben Johnson, young coach, and Ben Johnson and LaFleur don't even like each other. So I think this new age of Bears that the team that's going to be good is just going to levitate this rivalry once more. But if I'm the Packers, I know great trade by the for getting Michael Parsons, but because that injury, and you can't predict injuries, those they could use that first rounder and this coming up draft. You know what I mean? They could use that on a corner. I think their offense is really good. I think. Well, I don't want to get in the weeds of it. We'll get into that, what they need, our teams need in the future. But I'm just saying, I think it's gonna be a great rivalry to even more in the next few years. So it's gonna be awesome. LaFleur stays or goes?
He stays. I mean, it's been almost a half a week already. I think a firing would have been a quick thing. I think they're trying to iron out the details, maybe bring in an offensive coordinator, which I'm very pro. Yeah, the night of the game, I was ready to fire him. Then you start looking around to see what coaches are available. You got to think we have basically Parsons and Love for like a 2-year window right now, I think, with how we can shake things up. There's no need to upend the whole team and try with some random upstart coach and restart everything.
I think Reed and Watson are still on cheap deals too. So Golden, you have. I would like to see the Packer. Well, I don't want to get to. I just think they want to add a weapon. I wouldn't want to break down here, but I got you. Yeah, I think LaFleur. I think LaFleur is better than Daniels. Probably. I would say, and Stefanski as well. I think if you were going to replace him, you should have did it for Harbaugh. But obviously, he's signed with the Giants now. Breaking news if you haven't heard. But so right, I think the best move is give him a 3-year probably extension. They're probably going to give him and see what comes out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he's not the problem. He's a good offensive schemer. I think I want to see more of him, continuing to bring in good coaches and just leveling up the rest of the team. He can't, if all he can do is scheme, then he should be no coordinator. So, there's a culture issue in the Packers, and that's a roster construction thing as well. But I don't think he's the biggest problem, and I'm ready to run it back next year with some improvements.
Yeah, getting healthy is a big thing for them, and I also think some secondary help wouldn't be so bad either. But yeah, I think I'm actually, even though I give you a hard time for the Packers, I think it's gonna be a great rivalry between I think it's gonna be great TV with the Bears and Packers. The Bears are actually good now, so it's like the Packers used just to manhandle them almost every year, especially when Aaron Rodgers years. So good. I think it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a Goliath. David, when a unmovable object meets a
unstoppable force.
There you go. God, did I just call the Bears that? I take that back. Their defense sucks. Anyways, and let me briefly talk about my Philadelphia Eagles here about that game. Look, folks, I speak for every Eagles fan when I say this. We had hope. We had hope that a Super Bowl winning team, that they could turn around the playoffs. We all knew the offense sucked. Okay, it just sucked so bad. I was gonna say a swear word, but we're not early enough in the YouTube video to start swearing. Everybody knew. We thought they would turn it around. We thought they would do something, but I can't stand this. Like hindsight is always 2020, but when you are a franchise that you set the tone. You've won 2 Super Bowls in 6 or 7 years. Okay, you've gone to 3 Super Bowls in that amount of time. Okay. There's a precedent. It's like, this is it. And if you a bad coach, which I think they should fire Nick Sirianni, they're not going to do because he won a Super Bowl last year, but I think they should. But how we should have known, we should not hire anybody internally. We need somebody who brings in a system, implements a system, and stays within that. Now, the thing with the Eagles is we go through our offensive coordinators like people go through shoes, okay? They go out every single year. Jalen Hurts has not had one single coordinator go more than 1 year since he's been with the Philadelphia Eagles. Hell, it goes back to college either. He's had new offensive coordinators every single year. As I said in my YouTube short that a lot of people saw, over 1,000 views, and I had a lot of people arguing in the comments. The way you get rid of that is you get rid of Nick Sirianni, and then you implement a person who could call plays like a Ben Johnson, and then you don't have to worry about offensive coordinators leaving out the door every single year. Now, I think that's the majority of the problem. I fell to my knees and praised to every Aditi out there when I found out Kevin Patula got fired. I was like, thank God, this Pee Wee football, JV middle school plays he was calling. I mean, he was calling verticals when we need 4th 11 back to back. It was just the guy would look like he was like, didn't know, like he got the job by making a wish foundation, and he got the good job at offensive coordinator. That's what it looked like with this guy. Okay. They fired him. But the problem is everybody's saying, do we get a guy who's up and coming, stays a few years, or do we get somebody who can implement their system? And then, but you know what's going to leave? Eagles to me still have the best roster in all of the NFL. The majority of guys are coming back. We're going to lose some guys on defense, but we have 2 third-rounders and 2 fourth-rounders still left, or is it 2 second-rounders or 2 third-rounders? We got good picks, and we got Howie Roseman, by far the best GM of all of football. But if Mike McDaniels comes in, Stefanski, if those guys come in, or the guy from the Rams who's the passing coordinator, that he's a hot candidate right now, the Eagles will get to the playoffs next year, and if they're successful, he'll be out the door again, the offensive coordinator again, and we're back to square one. So I'm ranting and raving here. So when I getting back to we lost, every Eagles fan was just hoping the offense would change. They would change something up. They would add some spice because it's the playoffs. Their experience would step in. No, Jalen Hurts does not run the ball. Purdy has more rushing yards than him. Second, the only thing I saw different was that Devontae Smith was in the halfback position. There are some nice developments there, but after that, when the second half, as usual, we played great in the first half, and then we drop off our points. Literally, you can see our points. We scored like we're one of the crappiest teams in the second half when it comes to scoring. Kevin Patullo is calling Madden 19 plays out there, looking at his Xbox, and we were terrible in the second half, and we lose the game. So there's that. We lost because it's an inept offense. Nobody believed him. AJ Brown, who I'm on his side, called the offense what it was earlier in the season. You can see Jalen Hurts from the Hard Knocks rolling his eyes and and then when they asked him about the Kevin Patullo question, like, do you think he should be here? And he's like, oh, it's too early to ask those questions. He could have said, oh no, I have all my trust in him. No, he said I have my trust in Howie and Nick and Mr. Lurie. No, he didn't give a fuck about Kevin Patullo. He was like, see you later, alligator. So he wanted him good too. So what I'm getting at too, Adam, as I got on the psycho rant here, that the Eagles are gonna be in it next year. They have a roster like nobody's business. The majority of that offense is coming back. That the most expensive offense in all of the NFL. I don't think they trade AJ Brown because if they trade him before June 1st, it's a massive cap penalty. So I don't think they do that. If they do trade him after June 1st, they need to get some great composition back. I don't think they should. I think the new offensive coordinator they hire needs to reach out to AJ right away. Him and Jalen Hurts have repaired their relationship. So, I don't know. All I know is the Eagles will be back into it. I hate to see them lose because we had a Super Bowl defense. We truly did. The 2 best corner combos in the whole league. And it's going to be hard because Nakobe Dean's a free agent. He might lose him. One of the best linebackers, in my opinion, out there when he's healthy. We paid Bond. We drafted a guy in the first round. So, guys, Eagles fans, if you take one thing from my ranting and raving, it sucks that we lost at 49ers. We lost to an inept team, a team that we're clearly better than, but we beat ourselves. I truly believe that because the offense was terrible. We had a incompetent offensive coordinator, but we all know that we'll be there next year. The Giants, okay, cool. You got Harbaugh. You still got a lot of holes to plug there. God knows the Commanders are one of the oldest teams in the league. That's going to be hard to replace right there. And the Cowboys, as long as Jerry Jones is alive on that team, they're always going to be a clown show. So the Eagles fans will be back. You'll see, and we'll get it just like 2 years ago. We fired the offensive coordinator. We got to go in and Kellen Moore. What happened? We won the Super Bowl. So I believe when we get a better, competent offensive coordinator, the Eagles will be back at it, fighting for a Super Bowl next year. So, yeah, Adam, with all that, let's get to these games. Let's get these games because 4 games here. Let's not try to keep it a long one. But, guys, as I said, like and subscribe. If you like the Packers, you like the Eagles, like it. We love it. We're going to keep on doing this after the Super Bowl as well. So we'll give you our opinions, our crazy rants, and God knows what for the rest of the season until next season starts. But let's start with the divisional games, the first Saturday night game. So the season's not over yet, folks. Still some great games. I really like this one. We have the Bills versus the Broncos. with the Broncos being favored by 1.5 and the over under 45.5 points. Mile high, baby, that thin air. I don't know how that really pertains. I know in baseball, it's really hard to keep balls in the stadium. Football, I think it does have. I think that it's gonna be. Well, yeah, it does have our heart on them, right? When they run on the cardio and that thin air, I believe so, right? Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, way harder.
Yeah, yeah. So, Bills, to my surprise, I had the Jaguars. I think me and you both had the Jaguars, Adam. Good win. I believe if the Trevor Lawrence didn't have those 2 interceptions, if he kept it clean, I think he had a couple fumbles too. He just was not playing that well. And I believe it was a close game, as we know. I believe he kept those turnovers close, maybe 1 or 2 turnovers, not multiple. I think they could have won that game, but good win for the Bills. But they stepped up. They caused 3 turnovers. Yeah, it was 3. Yeah, that's what it was. 3 turnovers. So the defense stepped up, and that's what you do. And when you win the turnover margin, you mostly win. Not in the Eagles, but most times you win. Yeah, or the Packers. Yeah, go figure that. But it did come at a cost. I believe they lost another wide receiver for probably next year as well. What's his name? Davis tore his ACL. They also lost another one. I think they lost 2 wide receivers that game, or 1, Davis for sure, and the one before that they're out. So they have 3 wide receivers on the roster right now. But a little help is on the way. Curtis Samuel is coming off the IR, and I like him a lot. If people remember him from the Commanders days, you could really get him in open space. I like his hands, so I think that's gonna be a really nice safeguard for Allen. And I hope I think they'll be wise to utilize him right away. I know he's been in the IR, but they need to put him out there into the. They just have to, because he's the most veteran, experienced wide receiver on that team, and Cook. But I think Samuel could really get those tough yards for the first down in the slot. So there's that. They do get help. They're 8-1 versus the spread in their last meetings versus Denver. So they've been having Denver's number lately when it comes to the spread. But when it comes down, Adam, to the Bills, for me, for now until the as long as they stay in the playoffs, it comes down. What is Allen gonna do? What else does he have to do? I know he's beat up. He got beat up in the game before the Jaguars and the Jaguars game. So that's what it comes down to, man. Like, can Allen play Superman? He's going to play it the whole way. Can he do it this game? They got a great pass defense, but I don't have to remind you guys that rush defense is god awful. The only team worse than them in remaining left in the playoffs is the 49ers, and 49ers were dead last, and the Bills were the bottom 5 rush defense in all of the NFL. But as the remaining playoff teams, they had the second worst rush defense. But just to quickly ask you about the Bills, man. People are saying this should be the year, right? Mahomes is out. Jackson's is out. So all the guys who stopped Allen from getting to the promised land, they're gone. Do you think the Bills have enough, or do you believe in them in general? Do you think this is it? Do you believe in Allen? They take him farther?
I do. I haven't for the last couple of weeks, but they did show me something against the Jaguars. And the playoffs are still pretty wide open. I don't think there's any team that's like head and shoulders better than them. Their rushing defense played way better against the Jags than I thought. Looking at last week, ETN had 67 yards on 10 carries, and Tootin had 51 yards on 4 carries. Yeah. So they didn't get gashed in the run game. They kept it really close. I think the first 4 games all came down to like 1 score ending. So it was close, and when it's close, you want to go with a better quarterback, and Josh Allen is awesome. And I think that's kind of how teams want to win, or that's how the NFL is going these days. Like it's like the NBA, where you just got to tune in for the last 3 minutes to see who wins every game.
Yeah, and the Jags were no slouch on defense, so he's gonna have to play once again against a top defense. And just getting to the Broncos here, first round bye, best record in the AFC. So they got to rest up, and they're coming pretty healthy in this game. So that's good on that note. But with Denver, it's tough. It's tough. They had a lot of they were a lot like the Chicago Bears. A lot of these fourth quarter comebacks. And I mean that like literally, because in the second half throughout the whole season, they averaged 12.2 points in the second half. And that's compared to when they averaged 10.9 points in the first half. So basically almost a 2-point difference. But their defense allowed 8.4 points, only allowed 8.4 points in the second half, but they allowed 12 points in the first half. So a 4-point swing. Their defense played better in the second half too. So their offense or defense, when coming to the second half, they play better in games. Unlike the Eagles were playing the opposite. They're playing worse in the second half. So they like to play. They play tougher when it matters, if you will, and they've had a lot of comebacks. And I don't know if that says a lot about with this Denver team. Is that going to last? And we have examples in the season. We have examples. The Bears came back and beat the Packers, but that's it. Like, is that magic of coming back and winning games gonna show its head again with a quarterback like Bo Nix? Like, he has good numbers. You look at him and like that's not bad. But if you listen to the people you listen to, like the NFL analysts, guys who played the game, they say like, okay, but like he's still like off. Like, he's not completely. When he throws that ball, you gotta wonder who is it going to. And I'm not still in love with their weapons a lot. They got Son, he's over 1,000 yards, but after that, it's a drop off on wide receiver. Franklin is decent, not great. And then it's RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey has to play running back, and he's a good receiving back, so they've been using him a lot there. And they use Bo Nix legs. So, Adam, I know I talked more about the Bills and the Broncos, but I think we know what the Broncos are. The Broncos have to play lights out defense, and Bo Nix has to do enough not to turn over their ball. I know the Broncos have not that hard of a schedule, but do you think? And I guess we could get to the decision here. I'll let you go first. Do you think this defense can contain Josh Allen and Bo Nix do enough to win the game?
I don't. I think the Broncos obviously have a really good defense, but I don't think they're like as dominant as a Texans defense or something like that. And I haven't believed in Bo Nix all year. He's definitely had some good games, especially against the Packers. But overall, I just haven't seen enough, and I really liked how the Bills battled last week against a really hot Jaguars team. So I think the Bills can do it again. I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, it's hard to put your faith in Bo Nix, and it's just that it's a second year in, so I know he has experience. He went to the playoffs last year, but there's just something about him that I don't really truly put my faith in. So I believe this team. I believe both these teams are going to have a lot of opportunities to kind of score too, because both these offensive lines are pretty good. So keep an eye out for that. But I'm with you. I'm going to take the 1.5. I'm going to take the better quarterback, the more experienced quarterback. I think that this passing defense of the Bills can give Bo Nix fits, because that's the best thing about them. The way I think the Buccaneers come and cover this game is that RG Harvey has himself a game, and he exposes the Bills not crappy rush defense, and Bo Nix legs too. I think that's how they do it. So give us both the Bills to plus the 1.5 points. And let's talk to the second game. Division rivals again. We have the Seattle Seahawks versus the 49ers. The Seahawks being favored by 7 points, and the over-under is 44.5. Now let's just get to the 49ers here, people. Now look at, it's going to sound biased because I'm a Eagles fan, and the 49ers be my Eagles. But the Eagles lost that game. It's not the 49ers. The 49ers defense, they were playing with a guy who they got Kazir White, whatever, and Hendrickson, whatever I say his name, Kendrickson. These guys were veterans who couldn't get anybody to sign them. They just signed them off the streets, and they started for them. Okay, so their defense is depleted like hell. And they're the worst team at getting after the quarterback. They have the least sacks by a country mile, so they cannot sack the quarterback, okay? So this is what I'm saying to you. A competent offense can put numbers on the San Francisco 49ers. We've seen it all season long, okay? So be prepared for that. Fred Warner is not coming back for this game. If anybody's hoping for that, Not happening. If you fall asleep and you see him in your dreams, that's the best chance you're gonna get to see him playing this game. But that's what I'm saying. The defense is god awful. There's nobody I like really. I think that rookie corner, I forget his name, but he played decently. But that's about it. When it comes for the 49ers is their offense. Like I said, they put up a lot of points before that Eagles game where they're on that 6-game winning streak where they're averaging like 35 points. It's their offense. It's their system. But let's pump the brakes too on the offense too, okay? Christian McCaffrey usually has to play like God, Jesus Christ himself, so they can win these games. Receiving, the guy, I saw crazy metrics by that guy, how he has over 100 receptions. He's like, even compared to wide receivers, he's like in the top 6 in receptions. So the guy, and he has like over 400 touches. So the guy has to play like Jesus Christ himself for them to be competent. They lost George Kittle. He is done, torn Achilles. I would say he's probably gonna be done till maybe mid to late year, probably November next year. So he's not walking through that door, folks. Okay. So he was their second biggest weapon. So another one bites the dust. And the Eagles still lost him. But it says more about the Eagles than the 49ers. What keeps the 49ers in games is that coaching. Kyle Shanahan, he coaches like nobody's business. But as I told Adam, if the Seahawks have a round of 6 point or more point lead going to halftime, he's like 1 in 300 or some crap like that. But he has a terrible record. So if the Seahawks get up, Shanahan's not catching up to them. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say to you. Now, if Shanahan's going up into the second half, it looks good. But let's stay here real quick. The 49ers, they played the Seahawks last week. They lost 13-3. Not last week, before the playoffs started. But Seahawks could have scored more in that game. They blundered a lot of their offensive plays, the Seahawks, so they kept the 49ers around, but they won that by 10 points. And the 49ers beat them in the first or second week in the NFL, but that seems like forever ago, and the 49ers were healthy, so I'm not really counting that game. But what I'm trying to say is the Seattle could have won that game actually by like 24-3, but because they had a couple blunders on offense and going for field goal kicks, they could have won that game by a bigger margin. I'm not trying to be a hater here, Adam, but I think the 49ers are not impressive. I think it was the Eagles who shot themselves in the foot, and I'm just not a believer in them. I think they should count their lucky stars that they're here right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the coaching has been incredible. Saleh has that defense running on,
and he has job opportunities. He's out there asking for him to head coaching jobs.
As he should. It's super impressive what they've done as an organization, as a coaching staff. So I totally agree with you. I think that Kittle loss is going to be huge. Yeah. There's just only so much McCaffrey can do. The Seahawks should be flying around. There is always that risk of rust after a bye week. But man, I don't see how they don't get after Purdy and hopefully get some turnovers.
Yeah. I also want to mention that I forgot to mention that there was an egregious hold by Trent Williams, and they did not call it on the Eagles.
I saw that.
And the 49ers got a touchdown in that play. But, neither here or there, because I know it happens in the NFL, but I want to remind everybody, this is not me saying it, your favorite NFL analysts and other people who are ex-referees saying this is the worst refereeing they've seen in a long time. But I'm just saying, it would have been a different story, I think, maybe, if they called that egregious tackle that was not called by the offensive lineman. But let's get to the Seahawks. Coming off a bye, best record in the league. These guys look great. JSN, arguably the best wide receiver in the league. 1-2 punch and Walker and Charbonnet. I like their tight ends. Their Rashid Shaheed, it was good. They had this bye week, get a little healthier. He was a little banged up going into the playoffs, but they were working him in towards like the last couple of games of the season. So that's what you want to see. That's what you traded for. He's a burner. Get him out in space. Get him in kick returns, punt returns. He'll get you touchdowns. And he did get him special teams touchdowns. So they're using all the weapons. We don't have to talk about their defense. We know it's dynamite, okay? Houston Texans, and then you arguably right after them is the Seahawks or the Denver Broncos, wherever your flavor is. But they fly everywhere. They hit hard. We don't need to talk about them. It's their bread and butter. They got guys on every level, okay? So they got guys everywhere, and we don't have to talk about them. What we do have to talk about is the quarterback. That's what you have to worry about the Seahawks. They have this great record. It looks amazing, but we don't know what Sam Darnold you're going to get, okay? Now, I want to refresh people on Sam Darnold just a bit. The Seahawks are one of the worst teams in the NFL in giving up turnovers. Surprise, they have that good of a record. The only team worse than them in the NFL was the Minnesota Vikings, and that's because they have J.J. McCarthy. The guy can't throw a straight ball. The offense the Seattle Seahawks offense has given up 28 total turnovers. 25 of them, 25 were Sam Darnold's fault. So 28 of those turnovers, 25 was because of Sam Darnold. That's a lot, folks. Okay, that's interceptions and fumbles. So keep an eye on that. So that's what I'm telling you. What Sam Darnold are you gonna get? The guy who's like, okay, I think I got it, and it goes, faded to the right, it's interception, or he gets the nervous Nellies, and he shouldn't, because the 49ers front seven will not be able to get to that offensive line. They can't sack nobody. They think they got Hurts once or twice because he was running out of the pocket. So keep that in mind. I think Adams agreed with him with that. Everywhere around, the Seahawks are just good everywhere. But when it comes to quarterback, you're like, oh God, Sam Darnold has the ball in his hand. What is he going to do? So I just want to keep that reminder. And I want to point this out when we're talking about the 49ers. Brock Purdy has had 2 interceptions against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, but in the last 9 games in general, Brock Purdy's had 10 interceptions. So these guys are giving up the ball like hotcakes in the last several games with Sam Darnold and 49ers. So this might be a boat race, you would think, but with Seahawks defense, you never know. But just keep that in mind. Seattle's defense is 6th in the NFL with 25 takeaways, so they do take the ball away. That's good if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, because you got Brock Purdy throwing interceptions like it's going out of style. I mentioned the 49ers are the worst team against the rushing the quarterback. 49ers are 8-2 against the spread when they're on the road. Great road record against the spread, 8-2, as they did that to my Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't know why, the Seahawks do play worse at home. They're 4-4 against the spread when they're at home. So Adam, big number, 7 points. Rivalry game. If the regular season taught us anything, 7 points seems like a lot to chew off for a team. But and you could chime in because I didn't ask your opinion about the Seattle Seahawks, but I think we're in agreement when it comes to Sam Darnold. But do you think this more depleted team that at the 49ers, they lost those linebackers in the last game of the season? Now they lost their second best weapon. Do you think they can hang around, possibly win it? But do you think they hang around and to keep this and for them to cover against the Seattle Seahawks, against the Sam Darnold Seahawks?
I don't think so. The only thing that gives me pause is like if the Seahawks are worried about the 49ers defensive scheme. Like obviously the Seahawks can put up a lot of points, but if they feel like they can just run the ball and pound the Niners into defeat, that may, keep the score closer versus if Sam Darnold's just slinging it. So I guess I'm not sure what their strategy is going to be. I think part of why Darnold has had so many interceptions too is that they're always pushing downfield. And even on those games where he has multiple interceptions, he just gets right back up and is just throwing it right down the seam. Like he just does not care. So I think if the Niners want to have a shootout with the Seahawks can definitely hang in there. So I don't foresee it being a one score game like most of these games in the playoffs, but all of these games have been tighter than I anticipated.
Yeah, I think I saw a crazy stat that all the wild card games, the team that has the last possession with 2 minutes left won every game. Yeah. So it's unbelievable. And they say the NFL is not scripted. Sure. But I'm with you. Sorry, 49ers fans. You won your Super Bowl last week against my Eagles. Rejoice. Have fun. You beat the Philadelphia Eagles and the wild card. You got your revenge from when we beat you guys a couple years ago when we put Brock Purdy in a stretcher. You guys beat us. You won your Super Bowl. But as I love to be the bearer of bad news for this team, your team is going to lose to the Seattle Seahawks. I got them to cover, by the way. They're going to lose. You're going to fall back, and you have all those questions to answer. Brian Ayuk is gone. Kittle is going to be gone until November. Is Christian McCaffrey, can he stay healthy another season with all those touches? What about our defense? It's so beat up. We don't know what to do. We're injury prone every single year. So I hope you have those great questions to look forward to. But congratulations. You won your Super Bowl last week. But sorry to say, you will lose against the Seahawks. So give me and Adam the Seahawks to cover the 7 points. So now that we got done talking about that garbage team that is the 49ers, Let's talk about a game that I'm really pumped for because I really like this defense. We got the Texans versus the Patriots with New England being favored by 3 points and the over under 40.5. New England, me and you had the right side on that one, Adam. God bless Justin Herbert. The guy hike, bam, got hit by the ball. Says hike, sack again. The guy give it to the running back, boom, he's gone too. So God bless him. I think he was sacked 5 times. I don't know. It was over 4 for sure. Four to 6 times the guy was sacked. And the Chargers defense gave it good as they got. They got Drake May a few times. Surprisingly, they sacked him, I think 4 or 5 times too. But besides that, good win by them. Good win. Drake May's first playoff game. So that was good to see. I kind of knew that they were going to use. I don't like any. Let's just talk about the Patriots. We'll get to the Texans. I'm not a big fan of the Patriots' weapons. I'm just not. Like Diggs, when he's staying out of trouble, I think at this point in his career, good, not great. I like Henry. Henry's probably top 10 tight end in the league for sure. I don't know how they average the most deep balls, over 20 plus yards, or something like that in the whole NFL. I do like they're using the running backs a lot. And when you play great secondary, like the Texans, you got to kind of get your running backs in motion. You got to get them out there, and you got them get them out in space so they can get yards after the catch, because your options out in the field are limited. So you got to look for those checks in your running backs. I like Stevenson when he's not fumbling. I wish he did that better in fantasy football. Henderson, I like him as well. They're kind of using him less and less as later in the season. He had those big games back, like I think 4 or 5 games in a row. But now they're integrating Stevenson more because he's a better pass catcher. They averaged the most points, I believe, in all of the NFL, if I got that right. Yeah, they averaged an AFC best 28 points a game. Then they're going to need it because the Texans have to allow the least points in all of the NFL. But when it comes to them, great. The rush defense was good. It's been waning lately. Like I've been told you guys before, the rush defense was getting where they got Williams back. That was really great. That paid dividends. But this to me is going to come up with how far can Josh McDaniels scheme Drake May in position to go after a defense, but a defense that looked like I personally put money on that Steelers game, okay, and I was confident they would cover that game. They put a Hurlocker, so that's what I'm saying too. A veteran like Aaron Rodgers, a guy who still has good pinpoint accuracy, knows when he reads defense still really well. Can the Patriots scheme enough for Drake May? First playoff experience. He won a game already, but can he against a Texas defense that is suffocating? Do you like this Patriots team, man? Do you believe in Drake May? Do you think that this could be the beginning of the new dynasty? But what do you think about the Patriots, man? Do you think they have it? And do you think Drake May could have the skill set and the gumption to against the Texans defense?
I mean, I can't think of a bigger test, obviously. He put up an MVP season. I think he's a really good quarterback. Like you, I did like their rushing game. I like Ramondre Stevenson. I feel like I've had him on a fantasy team like for the last 10 years. I don't know how. The guy's been around for forever, and he was running fresh. So yeah, if they can make the Texans have to respect that run, it's definitely going to help May out. So I also liked how their defense played, obviously. So they're a balanced team. I think if anybody has a shot against the Texans defense, I think the Patriots are one of the best teams to go against them. So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to it, though.
Yeah, and talking about experience, it'd be dumb for me to forget that their left tackle is a rookie, and he allowed 6 pressures and 2.5 sacks. Now, let me tell you what, I like the Chargers defense, especially the secondary. If you can't block Hunter or Will Anderson, you are going to get eat up alive by those 2 guys. So if I'm the Patriots, Josh McDaniels, Mr. Good offensive coordinator, not a good head coach, you better put some tight ends on that side to chip Because if that rookie left tackle has any problems like he did last week, because the Chargers defense, that's good, but it's not as good as thing. Will Anderson, did you see him that game? Man, he made the Steelers offensive line look like they were just kids getting pushed over by an adult man. Okay, so good luck. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, because Will Anderson Jr. and Daniel Hunter, outside of Myles Garrett, Will Anderson is probably the next best DN in this league. So good luck with that. And let's keep on the Texans. Now, I don't think we want to speak too much about that defense. They beat I was texting Adam, our group, that Aaron Rodgers is going to need a body bag. That guy's going to go on one of his nature retreats, find whatever healing products you find, get a meteorite and rub it against your body, because you're going to need it, because that guy was getting hit like crazy. They had a pick six, a fumble recovery. That guy was getting hit left and right. So we know about this defense. Every level, linebacker, end, line, the secondary, it's elite upon elite upon elite. So we don't know we know what they're going to bring to the table. Okay, there's no way to talk about that. We have to talk about the offense when it comes to the Texans. Nico Collins out for this game, bad concussion, second concussion of the year. That's a big hit, especially a guy who's playing playoff fantasy who needs him to put up points. But what are you going to do? Hopefully he gets healthy. That's better. That's more important than a stupid fantasy. But he's out. He's a game changer, okay, folks? Nico Collins is a beast. Now, it was great to see that Kirk had over, I think, 150, close to 150 receiving yards against the Steelers. But the Steelers, like, their defense is not the best. But it was good to see that he step up. And they're going to need him, Higgins, all those rookie wide receivers to step up, Dalton Schultz. But if you watch that game, Stroud played, that's the main concerner. Well, the running game too, but I think we all can say that the running game is, I like Woody Marks, but I don't think Woody Marks is there yet. Good rookie, so I don't have no faith in them. Their rushing attack is below average. Okay, so we all know that Woody Marks is doing his best out there, but he can't pull off miracles. And Nick Chubb is a shell of himself. But I'll give credit where it's due. He did run over 100 yards against the Steelers defense, but the Steelers have one of the worst rush defense in the NFL. But it comes to Stroud, man. Stroud, I know he looked pretty good towards the end, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception against the Steelers. But in that first half, when you watched it, when the Texans only put up 7 points and it was a snooze fest in the first half, you were worried. Like, it was like, Stroud, like what is going on? Step it up. Nico Collins was not getting the ball. He's not going to be there now. So I think you're with me, Adam, right? We know the defensive Texans going to bring it every single game and playoff game. But what are we going to get from Stroud? What are we going to get from a Nico Collins less wide receiver room? What are we going to get from? So, man, do you think the Houston's defense can not do all the work? Because it's not like Sanders, whatever, from the Browns, and they need the defense to do all the heavy lifting. Stroud is a competent quarterback. He's not use cardboard. The guy he's a better than average quarterback. Do you think? And I'm ranting. I'll just do my prediction. You did the first one. I like this Texans team, man. I like this defense. This is like, I know people like to throw 1985 Bears around, the 2003 that Ravens team defense. I think it's all said and done. I know the Texans have to get there all the way to become this, but this defense might be legendary. Not legendary, but you could arguably say it's one of the best defenses in the last 25 years. I would put it there with the Legion of Boom and the Ravens defense. I truly do. And I think if Stroud plays no turnovers, manages the game good enough, gets your checks, and just put up at least 21 points, I think they can win this game. So, but I've also give me 3 points with that defense. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, last week I picked the Steelers, and I didn't think the Texans were gonna play that well on defense. I feel like an absolute moron because I don't remember the last time I saw a defense play that well. It almost made me anxious, like the amount of violence and they don't miss a tackle. They are on everything. I mean, that was one of the most impressive defenses I've ever seen.
Yeah,
So
Metcalf
I'm right.
was
Yeah.
Metcalf was like he was useless. And Aaron Rodgers, I know he's in his 40s, but he's still a very accurate quarterback. And they
Yeah.
made him look like mincemeat.
And he's slow, but he's good in the pocket. You know that he's good
Yeah.
at short passes, getting the pressure off, and it was absolutely insane. So that being said, Stroud's first half was absolutely terrible. I thought he made a couple good plays, but overall he looked like trash. And
Yeah.
the score does not show how close that game was. He kept the Steelers' offense in it by not giving them good field position. And really the floodgates just opened up once the defense finally broke through to the Steelers and things fell apart. So while I totally agree that that defense is legendary, I can't put money on CJ Stroud after what I saw last week, especially without Nico Collins. So
Yeah.
I am going to be holding my breath through the whole game because that defense can turn the whole game around, in one play. But I have to go with the Patriots.
Yeah, I hear you. And I'm glad that game, because it was getting close to my best bet for the under in that game at 36. It stayed under 39.5, so thank God I did. But I understand you, man. CJ Stroud he did not look accurate. His defense definitely carried him. The numbers don't really show what happened in the game. I get that. But like you said, how violent that defense was, man. It's just it's hard to just predict, bet against them. So
Yeah.
I hear you on there. But all right, so our first one we're different on. Give Adam the Drake May Patriots to cover the 3 and give me that violent ass O-block South Side of Chicago defense that is the Houston Texans. So now the game of the week, they're calling it. They're calling this game. Adam, your second favorite team, baby. Here they are. I can't remember the last time the Bears were in a divisional round, but here we are. We have the Rams versus the Bears. Rams being favored by 3.5 points, and the over-under is 48.5. I think it opened for more, but I think the people were taking the Bears a little bit more. Now, the Rams, surprisingly, needed a game-winning points to be against the Panthers. I mean, you know what? As we've been saying all year, they got Quinn Lake back, and it didn't seem like it even mattered if Quinn Lake was back from their thing. Bryce Young was there. This defense is not good, folks. I don't care what you say. I don't care if the numbers don't say it. If the Rams can't get after you with the quarterback, if you have a competent offensive line, and the Bears do, but I know they lost their left guard, I believe, is probably going to be out for this game, and he's one of the best interior linemen in the league. But if you can protect well against the Rams, you can light that defense up. That secondary is not great. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you're in love with McVay. It is not great. Okay. So the Panthers almost put it to them. They needed a game-winning drive to win it. So bada bing, they beat them. But it comes down to, for me in general, well, also I want to mention this game that it is going to be below freezing. It's going to be the wind's going to be howling. It's right next to the Lake Michigan. So how are the Rams going to respond to this cold weather? Now, I know you're going to say, well, Matthew Stafford played in cold games before because he was in the NFC North. Sure, he was. He played in Chicago. I don't know if he played in Minnesota when when he was outside, but I know he played. He played at Lambeau. I get it. But you know what? He's been in sunny California for a few years. And last time he played against the cold when it was snowing against the Eagles beat them. So there's that. But how is Kyrie Williams going to respond to the cold? How is Puka Nacua? I think you got a for sure thing of Devontae Adams, because he knows that cold like the back of his hand from playing with the Green Bay Packers. But Adam, I think we know the offense is going to, regardless of the cold, is going to respond. They have a better chance to show up. But it's, what are you going to get for this defense? What are you going to get from this Rams defense that you can't rely on? Coker, the wide receiver for the Panthers, a guy nobody really knows of, lit him up in the slot. So, that's what I'm worried about the Rams. Do I think the Rams could put up a lot of points? Sure. I told you guys to bet the over in the Panthers and Rams game. I knew it was going to be a shootout. But can this? Do you think this offense can outscore to carry their overrated defense?
I don't know. If you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have said for sure. Stafford's looked a little weak, and this offense just hasn't been as dominant as it was midway through the year. So I don't know. I'm really struggling. I don't know. Like you said, Adams is good in the cold. Puka Nacua can catch anything. So I think that helps a lot with the offense. And the Bears not having a good pass rush helps too.
Yeah.
So I do think they'll have more time than they had against the Panthers. So overall, I think they'll score, but the cold just has me a little nervous because that is a big wild card.
It is. And people don't live out in any cold areas. If you do, you can tell the people who live in the nice hot states, when you get hit in the cold, it hurts more. It really hurts more. It stings just a little bit more. But you're right, man. Just because Adams and Stafford have played in the cold before doesn't mean the majority of that team has liked that defense. But now let's talk about the Bears, baby. Bear down. They upset the Packers. Oh no, well, depending where you got the line, it was basically a pick'em game. They beat the Packers. A very big confidence booster because the Packers was one of their biggest wins, I would say, since the 1985 Super Bowl win. Truly, it was one of their best wins they've ever had in franchise history. They had to come again they were down damn near 20 points. They had to come out of nowhere, and they dropped a 20. They dropped over 20 points in the fourth quarter, I believe, against the Packers to win that game 31-27. Yeah, they scored 25 points in the fourth quarter, and that's been their MO a lot of the season. Okay, they have wins where they won outright, but that's been their MO, and I'm always asking myself, can they keep that up? I have more faith that the Broncos could do that because the Broncos have a shutout defense, and Bo Nix, I think is the same level as Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, a little wild, had 2 interceptions against those Packers. You were wondering when he threw some of those balls, you're like, what the hell are you doing? But he really turned it on the second half as usual. So there's that. And you made a good point. The problem with the Bears, as I told you guys to take the over in that game with the Packers, is their defense. They can't get after the quarterback. I think Sweat got him there once against Jordan Love. I think he got him sacked once, but Booker got him. But they don't really get after the quarterback. Their secondary could be had. I know they lost their linebacker he's done. They're really great linebacker who they spent a lot of money on. He's gone. I think he got hurt during the Packer game or the game before the Packer game, but he's out for the year, right? I think he got hurt during the Packer game. Yeah. So that's a big knockoff for them. Their secondary, yes, they lead the league in interceptions, but if they don't get that turnover, you can light them up. So Adam, what do you have to say about the Bears? I know we talked before this real quick, and we talked about it's more of a Ben Johnson scheming kind of thing. But I guess I'll let you take this prediction. I think what it gets to is this. Two things. Can Ben Johnson scheme them to another victory? But more importantly, can the Bears put 4 quarters on the full game? Because no hits your Packers, but this is an offense in the Rams that I know they've had their ups and downs in the last few games, but they have the weapons to light you up like nobody's business. Arguably the best offensive weapons, offense in general left in the playoffs, and going against a Bears team, like we said, their defense is good. But do you think Ben Johnson could scheme that they could keep up with a terrific Rams offense?
Yeah, I don't think so. The Bears have been living on, yes, a good scheme, but mostly on just like grit. That team is built in, and they get that fourth quarter rally with whatever confidence they can get from Caleb Williams, and just the fact that they've done it a ton of times. So I think it's more just like a mentality and effort thing, where the Rams are just a better overall team. Now the Bears offense has been better the last month. They're using Colson Loveland a lot. He torched the Packers, especially after Edgerrin Cooper got hurt. And they have weapons. I don't, I don't know. Caleb Williams can only torch a defense in the fourth quarter. I don't know why that is, but it seems to be pretty, it's been how he has been all year. So no, I don't think they can put up a full game. And I think the Rams can once they get ahead, can stay ahead with their run game and offensive line, where like the Packers O-line was bad and we couldn't run the second half. So I do think the Rams can punish them and stay ahead.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Also, I want to point out, I said it was an interior lineman that is out with that tore his ACL or his knee in general, who's going to be in the IR. It's their starting tackle who got hurt, so that's still big. Ozzy Chaplio. So he is out for that game. He's going to be out, so keep an eye out for that. But like I said, the Rams, if they can't get after you, that. So, dude, this is tough. I was on the right side against the Packer game. I like the Bears in that game, but this is not the Packers. And I like Ben Johnson a lot. I really do. But he's going against another good head coach who can scheme just as good as him. I probably like Ben Johnson a little bit more, but I think the show's over for the Bears. It's really great. You got like I said, one of the best ones you've had since you won the Super Bowl. But I think it's over. I think that you have they're playing a really great coach in McVay, but with the experience of Stafford, who won a Super Bowl a few years ago, with McVay, with Devontae Adams knowing the Bears knowing as well. So I think they do enough, and then when it covers 3.5 points, the cold does scare me, and that's going to hurt when the Bears run the ball. It does scare me, but I'm going to take the experience of McVay and Matthew Stafford and Devontae Adams over the limited experience of the DJ Moore, Doze, and Caleb Williams. But so give us both the Rams to cover, but a good look for the Bears in general. They are on their way up in the future of the NFL. All right, guys, our best bets for the divisional round games. I had a winning record, and as with all of our record for the best bets for the spread in general, I will put them in the bottom here so you guys know how we're both doing. As I said, for the regular season, we both went over 500 in our predictions. So if you watch us, you made a little bit of money. So with that, let's get to our best bets predictions for these divisional round games. My first one is I like the under in the Bills and Broncos game. I think whoever gets to 21 points first is going to win. But I honestly see this as this could be a 24-20 kind of game. It's going to be tight. Vegas tight. It's going to be tight. But I don't like the Bills' weapons. We know how the Denver's defense is. And also, I think the Bills' secondary could do well against the Bo Nix and his weapon. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. And I think whoever gets to 24 points first probably wins that game. And in my second game, like I said, the Bears defense is god-awful. They lost a starting linebacker. You have the experience of the Rams offense. And I don't like the Rams defense either. I don't like that secondary. So I think Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams could get points on them. So I like the over in the Rams and Bears game. And my third one, I wanted to pick the 49ers for the Seahawks to cover that game, but 7 points is a lot. But I like the under in the Seahawks and 49ers game. I think we're gonna have I think the 49ers are just gonna be hard pressed to get points against the Seattle Seahawks, just like they did when they played just a few weeks ago. And I think the Seahawks, they could win this game 27-10, and they still cover. So give me the under in the Seahawks and the 49ers game.
Well, I'm not Mr. Pro Better like you with these fancy over-unders. I like to pick games, and I like favorites. So I am, my best bets are, I'm taking the Seahawks. I really think they can put up plenty of points against this Niners team, and I don't think the Niners can handle how this defense is playing right now. I think all these games are going to be awesome, but I really am looking forward to the Seahawks.
Definitely.
The next one, I am scared of this game, but I still am going to take the Patriots. I know. I think that defense is going to give them plenty of fits, but I think they'll be able to turn the tide at the end and pull away. with the Texans offense struggling. And then finally, I want the Rams. There's a lot of talk that Matt LaFleur is helping out McVay, and when those two powers combined, I think they could double-digit destroy this Bears team.
Talk about bad blood.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to play that game, let's play that game. You've been here. You've been relevant for about 5 minutes, and I hope they come back down to earth, and we'll see them again next year. But definitely gonna be pulling hard for the Rams.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Before we go, is there any teams you're actually rooting for? Like you actually want to see you get to the Super Bowl? We didn't really talk about that besides their own teams.
Yeah, the Seahawks are the only team I think that I really liked all year. Yeah, they're the only one. What about you?
I'm just so tired of the NFC West. It's it's them lately it's them the Eagles. The NFC West or NFC East that's been going to the Super Bowl. So it'd be you're gonna hate this, but it'd be actually nice to see the Bears get to the Super Bowl for a change.
That's crazy. Come on.
Yeah. Whoa. But I actually would like to see the Texans. I would like to. I do want. They've in their whole since we've been alive when they had David Carr, their first quarterback. They have never sniffed the Super Bowl. So it'd be really cool to see like maybe their first time ever getting there with an okay quarterback and possibly winning it because it's all and win their first one. It'd be really a cool thing to see.
If Stroud can play anything like he played, last year, the year before, they have a chance. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, Texans and Bears Super Bowl. That'd be something else.
Yeah.
You never hear the end of it from one of our mutual friends.
No, I would have to change my phone number, I think.
Right. All right, guys, that is it. The playoffs predictions for the divisional round is here. Hopefully it's a division round. I feel like I'm always saying the wrong thing, but it is okay. Great. I'm exhausted from work. It's done. It's over. We love it, guys. A lot of great games. Our teams are not in. That kind of sucks, but you got to do what you got to do. Let's keep on winning money. Let's keep the streak going. I did pretty well or pretty okay last week. So let's keep that going. But always, guys, bet responsible. Bet responsible. Don't bet those parlays. If you're going to do $5 or $10, don't bet the bank on them. Bet single games. That's how you win money, and shop all the books so you get the best number available. So with that, guys, like and subscribe. It goes a long way. We love doing this. We're going to continue doing this. When the season ends, I'm going to be jumping into baseball and basketball. Love baseball. So with that, guys, we will always see you in the next one, and go Bears.
Ugh.
See ya.